السلام عليكم. مش عارفة في حد موجود ولا حد سامعني ولا لأ. احنا بقالنا كتير بنحاول من البروفايل بتاع البنت علشان نعمل اللايف فيديو. حد موجود؟ اوكي، في ناس موجودة. طب let me wait لحد ما اشوف هي هتعرف تدخل ولا لأ، وبعدين نبتدي. يومنا اوكي، معلش ادوني بس دقيقة لحد ما هي كمان تدخل، علشان احنا الدنيا كان فيها technical issues كتير. الصوت طيب حلو ولا محتاجة اعلي صوتي؟ ابعت لها مسج. اوكي، ميرسي ميرسي ميرسي. مش عارفة حتى ابعت لها مسج. معلش انا ببعت لها بس مسج واحنا بنتكلم. طيب عقبال لما تيجي انا زهقتكم بموضوع الفيسبوك لايف كتير، بس هو الفيديو ده احنا هنتكلم فيه عن السيلف استيم، وهو معمول زي ما قلت لكم بالانجلش. ومعمول هنعمله بالانجلش علشان هو معمول للناس هنا. خلاص المفروض اصلا كان يتعمل من البيج بتاعتهم ليهم، بس ما عرفناش، فانا عشان كده عاملاه من عندي. ميرسي والله. الصوت يعلى؟ حاضر هعلي الصوت، بس انا مستنيه تدخل. اوكي كرم حق ربنا يخليكم والله. محتاجه، حاضر هعلي الصوت وكل حاجه، بس هي تدخل بس تظهر. هعلي صوتي، ممكن اعلي ده كمان. اوبس. ممكن تسألوا أسئلة لحد ما تدخل، ممكن لو يعني، بس هما لما يجوا يتفرجوا هما على الفيديو. اوكي هير ثانية بقى. انا اوريدي المفروض ان انا عاملالك بقى. choose your live mode. لا اوكي. Hey,
Hello.
finally.
I think I'm sideways. Am I sideways?
Sorry?
Am I sideways?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is so painful. This
Yeah.
whole experiment is like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I can share it on my profile as well. So let's do that. It looks so weird though.
Like right now?
Yes, I'm
You just
sharing
wanna
it with my audience as well.
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure that you guys see Tabassum. She's can you see her? Can you see her picture, or just you can you see Tabassum, or are you just hearing her voice?
Hello, everyone. Can you all see me? Okay, that's nice.
Are they saying that they can see you?
Yes.
Because
they're saying
okay,
yes.
that's great. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's great. So
Okay, so I have posted it on my profile as well so people can see.
Yeah.
I cannot invite my friends though from here.
Yeah, too bad.
Yes, it is too bad. I don't know why.
That's okay. Maybe you
Yes.
can share it later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can start the conversation. It's already a lot of delay here, right? So who is the host today? Are you?
I think so. I just wanted you to be the host, but I think I'll have to do this now. So you go
Yes.
ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, so our today's topic was self-esteem, right? So before we go into the detail and we talk about that, what, because people understand different things from different meanings, right? So how about if we explain a little bit that, what is the true meaning and what are our true expectation with the word and the meaning and with the people.
Okay, so can you give a very brief introduction about what you're doing, Tabassum, before we start, since we're doing this from my profile?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so I am founder of Com Canada, Connecting All Women. This is a group of women which we have created some time ago. So what we do different educational workshops, not related to one topic. There are some business related, some educational, let's say that if different resume writing, job search strategies from different aspects. So the goal is to connect with more women, with more professionals and more resources, some guidelines where they can learn new skills together and proceed from there, grow together.
Great. Okay, and today we're going to talk about self-esteem, right?
Yes, that's the topic for
So,
today.
okay, so what was the question? What is self-esteem? Right?
Yes, a little bit of
Yeah.
explanation that, people usually interpret love's words in different aspects here.
Okay, so let me start first by maybe introducing why we chose this topic in the first place, why we're talking about self-esteem today, because it's a very important topic that we need to raise awareness about first. So the thing is, what I figured from my work, from my experience with 99% of the people I work with, is that they set rules for their happiness. When you ask someone like what has to happen for you in order to feel good or in order to feel happy, they set rules that structure their happiness on some external subject or on something that they cannot really control, right? And as long as you structure your happiness on something that you cannot control, you tend to always experience pain. So the thing is, the lower your self-esteem, the lower, and we're going to define self-esteem later, but the lower this, the how you see yourself, the bigger the void will be, and then you will come and try to fill this void by buying into lifestyle and material objects and things that really don't make you happy. They become a substitute for your own inner harmony and inner peace, right? So the thing is, as human beings, we tend to have we're very complex creatures. We're very complex beings. We have an endless stream of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual needs that we go about life trying to fulfill these needs, right? But the thing that most people don't understand is that your cell phone or is it mine? I'm
Mine.
sorry. I just heard something. So the thing is that there is one need that is fundamental and essential, and it's deep inside, that if it's not fulfilled, you're not really going to be able to balance between the different mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual needs that you have. And this need is the need to love the person that is actually living this life, the need to love the person who is actually praying or is reading the book or he's exercising or sleeping or watching this video. You need to love yourself first so that you're going to be able to balance your different needs and go about life fulfilling them, right? And this is very important because I base all my work and the book that I've written on the premise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created every one of us special and unique in a way, and that part of growing up is discovering what you're here to offer to this world, right? And you can, and this is actually pretty much the most common question that people tend to ask life coaches. Like, I want to know my life purpose. I want to know what I'm good at or what I'm here to accomplish or what's my legacy. And there is, again, a fundamental question before that comes before that. How much do you know yourself, and how much do you like yourself, and how do you see yourself? You see this person that is going to achieve something or leave a fingerprint or do something in this world, right? So, and this is actually, I'm sorry, I just jotted down some notes, so I'm going to be reading them. So this is pretty tricky because every time I do a workshop about self-esteem, I get people telling me, you know what, I hate myself. I don't like the person that I'm looking at in the mirror, and I really hate myself, and I don't like this person. And every time I tell them that actually this is not true, because you wouldn't be watching this live video or attending this workshop or reading this book if you don't like yourself enough to think that, you know what, I deserve to be happier, or I want to know you more, or I want to know what you're capable of doing, or, you know, I want to feel love or appreciation or acceptance because deep down I feel that I deserve it. So we all have this part of us that actually likes ourselves or loves ourselves. But maybe we lost touch with it, and then we what we need to do now is to reconnect with this sense of self-love, right? Because if you don't love yourself enough, you're unable to know what you are good at, what you can develop or you need to develop. You're unable to encourage yourself or to even love other people, because, you know.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
What do you think that why people face this, like all of us pretty much face this situation sometime in our life, right? So what could be the reason? Like
Yeah.
maybe the artificial standards, what we have created in around us, like the media, the social media, the marketing schemes, like what they're telling us are telling, they tell us always that you are not good enough and you need to do that to be acceptable or good enough.
Yeah,
Is it?
that's actually a great question, Tabassum, because the thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us all with a full tank of self-love, right? So all children, they love themselves and they want to show you the good things that they did, and they want to see like how you appreciate them and you love them and you cuddle and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with this full tank. But the thing is, along the way, we have heard a lot of messages that has taken away from our sense of self-love, whether these messages came from our parents, from the community, from the media, from whatever it is. But then these messages that are like in the background of our heads, in the subconscious mind, they actually tend to take away from our sense of self-worth and self-esteem and self-love. So for instance, when you are raised to I'm going to give you just a couple of examples, right?
Yeah.
So when we are all raised somehow to with the belief that it's not okay to appreciate yourself. When you do something good, it's not okay to say that I did something good and I like what I did, because you were taught that self-appreciation is vanity, and vanity is not good, right?
Mhm.
So what you do is that, when somebody compliments you, you tend to, even if deep down you feel like I really did a good thing, but you
Mhm.
don't really accept the compliment, and you go about, putting downplaying what he's saying, or saying that, oh, you know what, it was just an old thing, or like, yeah, I didn't do really good, or I look fat, or my nose is whatever. And you keep on downplaying yourself and downplaying what you do until you really believe this propaganda about yourself, and this turns into your self-image. So you're
Yeah.
doing this great, I don't know, cake or whatever. I'm not really a good cook, but if I was one, and then you tell me like, Heba, I really like the food you cooked, no, not really, because I think that you needed more salt, or needed more spices or whatever. And then I'm doing this because I don't want you to think that I'm full of myself. While
Yeah.
actually what's happening by time is that this becomes my self-image,
Mhm.
right? And so this is one of the things that we get taught in life, and it goes into our subconscious mind, and we tend to really believe ourselves that we're not good enough because of this thing. Okay, this message.
So what
Another
is the
message.
solution for it, right? You know, because
Sorry.
we know that how it can create damages and in the personal and professional life as well. So I would like to know, like, if you share some views that if you have in any of your clients, if you have seen that, you know, how it was damaging their personal and professional life as well, right? Because it is easy to remain in your own shell, but once you have to go out and face other people with low self-esteem, what kind of difficulties practically it can bring in your life?
So you're asking how damaged self-esteem affects us? Is that
Yeah.
you're asking? Yeah. So the first thing, it affects your self-awareness, and a lot of us go about setting goals and writing, time management sheets and like tasks that I'm going to accomplish. But deep down, you really don't have this consistency, because it feels like, and this is a pretty good example that I always tell people, it feels like I want my daughter or my son
Mhm.
to be the best athlete, to be a very good student at school to be, you know, to memorize Quran or whatever. But actually, I'm not connected to him. Like, I don't like him. I just drag him to, you know, the training, or drag him to the class or to whatever, and we don't talk to each other. I don't have the tools necessary to encourage him. I don't make him feel liked and accepted and loved. And so how is he gonna really be excel at these things if he feels like his own mom doesn't love him? You see what I mean? So the thing is, this applies to us too. If I want to be like the best, you know, doctor or lawyer, or if I want to write a great book or do this workshop or like discover what I'm really good at, how am I going to be doing this if I don't have this connection with myself, if I don't like the person doing this? And this automatically reflects on how you deal with people too, because the thing is, the way we view the world is actually, it's like a big mirror reflecting how we view ourselves in the first place. So the most people that are not really trusting of other people, they don't like other people, they go about criticizing the people around them, they are the most ones that are actually disapproving of themselves. They criticize themselves and they don't like themselves. So it affects your relationship with other people too. And it's most of the girls that come and ask, like, you know what, I'm in an abusive relationship and this guy is, it's very toxic and is abusing me and so on and so forth, and then I can't go out of this. And the real reason why she really can't go out of this is because she doesn't really feel that she deserves better than this. She doesn't see her self-worth. So you get trapped into abusive relationships. You tend to abuse others as well. You get so depressed. You tend to have codependencies on things, on shopping or in addictions, on like other people. You tend to be very sensitive to criticism. These are all signs of poor or low self-esteem.
Yeah. So what is the solution for it? Like, how we can overcome this low self-esteem? How can we fight with that?
Okay, so first, let's go back to your first question, how we define self-esteem first. So self-esteem is the way you see yourself. It's the way you view your own worth. And it has two very important parts of this. You need to see yourself in a realistic way. So self-esteem does not mean that I always tell myself that I'm the best person, I'm so pretty, and I'm so, you know, I don't have I'm not doing anything bad. Like, it's not being or viewing yourself like you're this princess who's perfect in everything, because this is unrealistic, right? And it's unrealistic too to think of yourself that you're like a piece of shit, because this is unrealistic.
Do you think that self-actualization is something which has relationship with that?
Self-actualization, if it's not built on self-esteem, like it will feel like I tell you, Tabassum, you know what? I will love you when you lose 10 kilograms. See the condition?
I will give up on your love then.
Sorry?
I'll give up on your love then.
Yeah, and you're going to feel really insecure because
10 kgs are like too much for me. Okay, yes, so I'm sorry.
Even if it's not too much, if I'm your mom, for instance, and I put this condition to give you love, this is really insecure. But if I tell you I love you, and that's why I want you to lose the 10 kilograms because I love you, it makes a huge difference, right?
Exactly.
So self-actualization, if it's a condition that you put to love yourself, it becomes actually really stressful and insecure. But if I love myself, and that's why I want her to actualize, to be a better person, to do so and so, then it's built on security. You see what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So you need to be realistic about how you see yourself. Like, I'm not full of crap and I'm not the best person. I'm just a person with good things and bad things. And you need to love yourself even after seeing your shortcomings, because this is how we tend to relate to our friends. Because if you think of your friend, you know that she has pros and cons, if that's a right word to say, or if she has like some good things and bad things about her character, but you love her anyway, right? And this is how a person should feel towards himself as well. And in order to reach this, and this is your second question, in order to reach this, you have to reverse the messages that have been told for the past, I don't know, 30, 40 years. So if you've been told that it's not okay to appreciate yourself, you have to be your own new mother now and tell yourself a different message. If it's one of the worst messages, for instance, that damages the self-esteem is that we were taught that it's not okay to make mistakes, because when you do a mistake, it means that you did not do a bad thing. It means you are a bad person. And it's
So I feel that this is something we see a lot from the previous generation to the next generation to the next generation. Like, I feel that, you know, every generation, if we see the past generation, it looks like they were perfect and they feel that they were perfect. And the next generation, which is coming up, they are making a lot of mistakes and they should be corrected. Otherwise, their life will be ruined. Do you think that that mentality is something which is lowering down the self-esteem of our kids and, you know, the next generation is?
It is, but actually even the past generations, they do have self-esteem issues as well, and that's why they are projecting it on the new generations, because if they were accepting to themselves, they would have accepted other, like the new generation's mistakes too. You see where it goes. So it is actually something that is viral. If you learn to accept yourself more, it's gonna automatically reflect on your relationship with others. So one of the very important messages that you need to teach yourself and your kids is that mistakes are opportunities to learn, and you are a human being. You cannot be perfect, and you're not expected to be perfect. So you should accept when you make a mistake, and you should not let this mistake define you. So there is this fine line, but it's very important to think of yourself like, I'm a good person who did a bad thing now, but it doesn't make me a bad person, because I'm going to keep on making mistakes. And the moment you think of yourself as a bad person because you got a bad grade, or because you did something wrong, or even something that is haram, this is where the moment where your self-esteem starts to deteriorate and it starts to damage us, right? Because you will keep doing wrong things. So, and you need to give yourself the benefit of the doubt and the chance to fix your wrongs.
The feeling of guilt, and then feeling like that, okay, I'm turning to in this, like, I'm already bad, so it doesn't matter if I do more mistakes or not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So
Yeah,
what solid steps we can, let's say that if because we see a lot of kids these days, especially from our community, when they go out in the community, in the schools and everything, especially towards when they're moving towards the high school or university, most of the kids we see that, you know, their self-esteem starts lowering. So what do you suggest, what solid steps parents can take to boost their self-esteem? This is one thing. And any individual, let's say, for themselves as well, as a parent, for their kids, for teenagers or the university going child, and for themselves as well, that if some individual is going through of this kind of condition.
Okay, so the first thing is unconditional love and acceptance. This is the first message that has to be upfront, very bluntly, with your kids or with anyone dear to you that you're dealing with. So, you know what? Work hard, get good grades, but I love you even if you have bad grades. I love you no matter what, because this is true. So the first thing is making them feel secure that your love and your acceptance is not conditioned by how they do or what they accomplish or not. So this is the very first thing. And you need to always remind them that they are important. They have this place in the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they created them special and unique, and they have to believe this in themselves, even if they're like struggling for a while, especially since you're talking about teenagers specifically. So maybe you're struggling, maybe you don't really know your place right now, what you're good at, but it does not mean that you are just a meaningless, worthless person. So the first thing is you have to kind of install this thinking into their minds. You are important, you are loved, you are accepted, you are a unique human being, and it's going to be a very long journey for you to discover what you're really here to do. But all along the way, you're going to be accepted, loved, and appreciated. So that's the first thing. The second thing is really about how you talk to yourself and how you talk to your kids. So how you talk to yourself is really about the self-talk. If you are if the majority of your self-talk is negative, is actually demeaning, is criticizing yourself, and same way applies to your kids too. If all the way you talk to them is criticizing, demeaning, putting them down, you know, if you only notice what they're doing wrong, but you tend to skip what they're doing right,
all of this contributes to the sense of, oh, this person doesn't really love me, right? And you know, I was in a live video a couple of days ago, and I told them like a very important rule that applies to all of us: people do better when they feel better. So if I saw you doing something wrong, Tabassum, and I make you feel bad about yourself, chances are you're gonna really tune me out, and you're gonna feel like desperate, and as you just said, you're gonna give up on yourself, right? But if I made you feel good about yourself and I encouraged you to change your behavior, there are much higher chances that this is going to happen. So the second step is monitor how you talk to yourself and how you talk to your kids. If you want to encourage someone, you really need to make him feel good about himself, and you really need to acknowledge the good things much more than you tend to criticize the bad, right? So this is the second thing. And then the third thing is that, okay, let's do a plan of how we're going to grow and how we're going to develop and how we're going to overcome the shortcomings or the bad things or the whatever, the bad behavior or anything that we want to change, right? But now this third step is built on the first two. So I understand, or I believe that you are a worthy being, you are a unique person. I show this to you with my unconditional love and acceptance. And because I love you, I want you to do 1, 2, 3. So most people tend to build self-esteem the other way around. Do 1, 2, 3 first, so that I would love you.
Yes, yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Okay.
I hope that most of the mothers are watching at this point, because usually I see teens and young kids struggling a lot because there's a lot of pressure, a lot of false expectations from the kids, because and sometimes I'm feeling like asking parents and their relatives and friends that these are the things which you were not able to achieve, but now all your things which you were not able to achieve, now you want that individual, that young child, to achieve all of that. So it is a lot of pressure, and usually it's more from the family as well. I think it's peer pressure from the society, from the community, so which adds a lot, right? So I feel it difficult for many families where we are seeing the kids and the mothers are really worried because their kids are in depression or so, and it is just because of the, maybe they are not able to adjust in the community, in their age fellows. So, and there was one more question here. Yes, Muhammad Hassan, he was asking that, so what is the best way to deal with ourselves when we did mistakes? So I expect that these 3 steps should have helped, but if you want to add something more about it.
You know what, if you want to know how to deal with yourself when you make a mistake, think about how you deal with your friend if he makes a mistake. So how do you go about talking to him? If you're
be a friend of yourself.
Exactly. Because you know, we have the capability to befriend all people, to support all people, to talk nicely to all people, to encourage, to, you know, be there and validate other people's feelings. And if we don't do this to ourselves, then we're not going to have self-esteem, and we're not going to be able to do anything, because we are friends to everyone but ourselves. So just think about it, like, what if a friend of mine, a dear person to me, did this wrong thing? How am I going to talk to him? How am I going to support him or help him? And do that to yourself. That's basically it.
That's a very nice advice. So yeah, so I think it's a very important topic, and to know yourself, to know your strengths, and the thing is that no one can be 100%, right? So everyone will have some shortcomings, and we need to accept it. So till the time we will not accept it, will not be the first thing that we cannot correct it, right? This is the first thing, but you need to know your positive points as well, that yes, you have the 20% of the issues, but maybe you have 80% of the strengths and the positive points, but you are neglecting all of them just because you are concentrating on your negative points. So I was listening to some interview a couple of days ago, and this is from some famous star, and she was sharing her experience that in her teens, in her college age, so she was a very successful athlete. She was good at drama. She was good at activities, studies, and everything. The top performer in all the areas. But then her performance is starting going down very fast, very rapid, and she was blaming it on the social media and the magazines. And she said that, when all the billboards, all the magazines and everything was telling me that if I'm not the size 0, I don't worth living, I don't worth, like, to be appreciated.
If I what? If I didn't hear that, if I what?
Size 0, like the weight loss thing, that I should be that
Okay.
thin. If I don't look like a model, it doesn't mean that, you know, it doesn't matter whatever I have achieved in life, but I don't look this way. So just because of that thinking, that negative opinion about herself brought all of her performance down.
Oh.
Right. So till the time she faced a lot of health issues, and actually an accident cracked her backbone. The recovery, I think so what her opinion was that, you know, going through of that trauma actually brought me back and make me friend of myself again. And then I started realize that this is not the only thing which is important. So I have many positive points, and I practically have neglected all of them because of that certain criteria how people and the society is telling me that I should be. Right. So all these standards, every individual, when we do accept it, that every individual is different. Every person is different. Their strengths are different. Their capabilities are different. So we should not be expecting the similar values, the similar behaviors, the similar reactions from everyone, right? So we will be seeing differences, acceptance for yourself and acceptance from others as well.
Exactly. And, you know, always ensure that your kids know that it's okay to be themselves. Like they don't have to be a doctor like you or dressed up all like other children. It's okay to be themselves. If they're different, then they're different, you know, and it's okay. And this is actually part of life, you know, if they're not doing something wrong, of course. But I mean, it's okay to have different opinions and to express themselves. And it's okay not to just go with the flow and just being, you know, because this is actually something that damages our self-esteem too. We all, as human beings, have this need to feel a sense of significance and belonging to the bigger group, right? But sometimes we try to achieve this goal with the wrong way of masking the true self, of masking who we are and how we think and what our beliefs are, just to, you know, confirm with everyone around us and to feel accepted.
To fit in, basically. To fit in.
To fit in, exactly. And so what happens is that you come and tell me at the end of the day, like, I really like the talk, Heba, or like, I liked how you look, and so on and so forth. And I don't really feel it, because I know that when you said this word, when you complimented me, you actually complimented the mask that I was wearing. This was not the true me. So it doesn't really reflect on my self-worth or self-esteem. Actually, I hate myself more. You see where I'm going? So and for this example, the actress that we were talking about, or the she was an actress, right? Yeah, okay. So for this example, again, she fell into the trap of putting a condition for herself to love herself. Like, when I reach this target weight, I'm gonna see myself as a successful or important person. And that's her rule. And her rule is really disempowering, because what if this didn't happen? Or what if it happened and then next day they told you, you know what, curvy girls are more attractive? What? Right? So yeah, it's just something that really needs time. Self-esteem really needs time and practice, because we've been brought up to think another way, and we have this belief that you cannot love yourself, or else you'll be selfish, or you'll be, you know, full of yourself, and so on. And then it ended up that I'm disconnected with myself, and I can't really help it. So yeah. So one of the questions, I'm sorry, one of the comments was saying, but you can be harsh with your friends. She's actually commenting on the thing that think about what you're going to do with your friends. So she's saying, I could be harsh with, right? Did I read it right? Yeah, I could be harsh with my friends too. That's true, Shireen. Yeah, that's true. You can be harsh with your friends, but then what do you do when you be harsh with your friends? Normally, or most of the times, you probably go and apologize, or tell her, like, you know what, I'm sorry, Tabassum, I was so harsh with you today, but this is because I love you and I want you to be a better person. So you could be harsh with yourself sometimes, you could be harsh with your friends sometimes, but then if it's, you know, wrapped in love and in appreciation, that it's gonna be okay. Yeah. So is there any questions that, okay, is there anything that you want to say?
So yes, just I'm going through the messages if they have more questions there.
Okay.
Okay, so if do you suggest that it is something that if any parent, because some people, there are different stages of lower self-esteem, right? So
Yeah.
not everything can be just by yourself or just by your own counseling can be recovered. So do you suggest that if any person, any family member, any child who is suffering like badly with the lower self-esteem, it's not a stage where they can handle it by themselves or they don't know how to handle it, do you suggest them to go for the counseling or anything?
Yeah, I think so, because you know, self-esteem, the thing about this word is that it's self-esteem. So it has to come out of yourself. So there is no way that someone would give you self-esteem, but maybe someone would help you build your self-esteem. You see?
Yes,
So
that's
maybe
what
a
I'm
book
saying.
or a workshop or like a counselor or a coach could help you build it, but you have to do this to yourself. You have to build it up for yourself.
Yeah, but sometimes people need a push, right? Because sometimes they're in a stage or in a phase where it is very difficult to come out from, to
Yeah.
think even positive for once, right? So maybe any support, anything
Guidance.
which can help you. Are you
Yeah.
aware of any services available where if parents observe the low self-esteem in the child for a little bit of,
Okay,
maybe
so
here and there?
here, let's talk about here in Canada first. Here in
Yes.
Canada, there is the, of course, there are for children. There are many resources like the Rock, or like counselors that deal with children. For women, there is this the Women's Center, and it offers. Just hold on. There is this Women's Center, and it offers self-esteem workshop for women, and it's free of charge. It's a once per week kind of a support group.
Okay.
I do self-esteem workshops online, so that's another thing. And there are a lot of self-esteem books as well. So if you go to Amazon or Google or maybe Goodreads and just type self-esteem in books, there's going to be a list of them. Read the reviews and choose for yourself like what you want to, if you can't afford to go to, or if you don't want to go to a counselor or a coach or whatever. So yeah, there are many resources that you can use.
Okay, that's really nice to know, because sometimes it is difficult too, because I have heard about the people who are depressed as well, because they go in a phase where it is very difficult to come out from or to
Yeah,
talk to someone.
yeah,
But if there is a resource available, so it is more comfortable that you are talking and you can speak to a live person, and that
yeah.
person can, ask a little
And
questions and
yeah, one other thing about this, about the resource as well, the Family Education Center here in Canada, it offers, I just gave a workshop at the Family Education Center like 3 weeks ago, and it was about parenting and self-esteem. So this is one other resource that they can use too.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So after the session, maybe you can drop
I can
these
write them
links
down.
here in the comments. So whoever is watching, and if they want to go through all these links
Okay.
for, for their own more further study or to know more about it, so it will be great. Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much, Heba.
No problem.
I know that you were sick, but still you
Yeah.
managed to
Yeah.
come and join the session. After all the technical difficulties which I usually face these days.
Yay.
So we were able to make it. Thank you very
Thank you
much
so
for all
much.
the useful discussion. I'm very much sure that many people will be helpful. It will be helpful to many people. And I really wanted to talk about the kids as well, because we see a lot of issues here, especially in our community, because
Yes.
adults, they come and they have some targets, and they because it's a fast-paced environment, right? It's a very fast-paced environment. Parents, mothers, fathers usually get busy in the environment, but we see a lot of kids afterwards suffering with low esteem issues, right?
Yeah.
So all this is really good information, and the
Especially
guidelines, I
girls.
hope that yeah.
Especially girls, because of all
Girls,
the
yes,
media
yes,
stereotyping. And,
they
yeah.
have a lot of pressure from both
Yeah.
the sides, like from everywhere.
That's right.
Yes, I do agree with that. Okay, so I'm very much sure that the steps you have and the guidelines you have given, it will be very helpful for the people. And so everyone who is watching, please, if you have more questions, this under this live video, you will be able to leave your comments as well. Me and Heba will be watching your comments, and if you have any more questions, we would try our best to give the responses to that.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much,
much,
Tabasum,
Heba.
for
If you
having
want
me.
to, okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, you guys have a great day, and I'm gonna be looking into the comments now. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.